Let's talk about this nonogram. This puzzle, called Watermelon, is a 30 by 30 grid and only uses 4 colors. It took me about 1 hour to complete, but it was absolutely worth it. My strategy: I started by filling in the black and brown cells first, since they had the fewest possible placements. They were like the foundation. Once those were locked in, the rest started to make more sense. But the real challenge? Those 2 shades of green. At first glance, they looked almost identical, and figuring out where each one belonged was like solving a mini puzzle within the puzzle. The game-changing trick. After struggling with the rows for a bit, I realized something. The columns were way easier to solve. The number clues on the vertical axis just made more sense to me, so I switched tactics. I focused entirely on completing as many columns as I could before even touching the rows again. And you know what? It worked like magic. Each column I finished gave me new clues for the rows. It was like unlocking doors. One after another, the puzzle started revealing itself. Slowly but surely, the entire grid came together, all because I decided to attack it vertically first. The hardest part. No question, the toughest moment was dealing with those intermittent greens. There were sections where the 2 shades alternated in such a tricky way that I'd stare at the screen, second-guessing myself. Is this the lighter green or the darker one? I must have asked myself that a dozen times. But with a little patience and maybe a few deep breaths, I finally cracked it. Final thoughts. Overall, this nonogram was seriously entertaining. I loved watching the watermelon design emerge. It felt like a reward for all that mental effort. That said, I'm usually not a huge fan of the default color schemes in these games. Fun fact, I just found out you can customize the colors. Totally forgot to try it this time, but next puzzle, I'm definitely tweaking the palette. My rating: I'm giving this one a solid 8 out of 10. It was fun, engaging, and just challenging enough. But those greens? Yeah, they gave me a slight headache. Question for you. Do you play nonograms too? What's your go-to strategy when tackling big grids like this? Any tips for dealing with tricky color patterns? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how you approach these puzzles.